Hello. Today I'm just going to be talking through concentric circles method and the trammel method for drawing the ellipse. Some students struggled with the concentric circles method, so I put it onto this video now, so at least then you can pause it or you can rewatch it again then if you ever get stuck in the future with drawing ellipses. I suppose firstly we'll start off and we'll draw the concentric circles method. So again, as we said there in the last class, we have the major axis, which is 120 millimeters, and the minor axis, which is 80 millimeters. So we'll just draw this line across here at 120. And then, as you know, again, the minor axis is the perpendicular bisector of the major axis. So that means so the minor axis bisects the major axis in half. And when perpendicular also means that it is 90 degrees. So the minor axis is always 90 degrees to the major axis. So we'll just draw on this line now here at 80. So now we have a minor and major axis. The major axis is always longer than the minor axis. So we'll just get our compass then. And we're going to draw these two circles. So draw the first circle. This is going to be the first circle. This is going to be your major circle. And then you're just going to draw the minor circle. So that is your major and minor circles drawn. And then again, you're going to draw all the angles possible then with your 60-30 set square. So we have this line at 60, this line at 60. Then we have this way at 30, and then we have the other way at 30 degrees. So draw all the lines possible, draw all the angles possible with your 60-30 set square on in your circles. So then you have 4 points already. So you have the top point, you have the bottom point, which is the top and the bottom of your minor circle, the smaller circle, and you also have points on the left and the right, which is the furthest points left and right on your bigger circle, which is your major circle. So now all we have to do is, where these lines that are drawn out at 60 and 30 hit the big circle, we just drop them down. So we just drop these lines down vertically, so straight down. We just drop these lines straight down. Then, where these same lines hit the smaller circle, we draw these lines out horizontal, just straight out, until they hit the lines coming down, and that'll give you a point on your ellipse. So now we have 4 points on the top of our ellipse. So we 2 points here, we have our top point, and we have 2 more points here. Then it's the same with the bottom. Where your 60-30 lines hit the outside circle, the only difference here is, instead of drawing the lines down, we just draw the lines up. So where the 60-30 lines hit the outside circle, we just going to draw our lines up. And then same again then, where the lines hit the inside circle, we're just going to draw our lines out the way, horizontal, until it hits our lines coming up and down. So then we have 4 more points on our ellipse. So now all we have to do now is finish off and draw our ellipse. And the main thing to do with this is go across firstly with a light pencil and just shade around it, and then finish it off then with one continuous line then with your heavy pencil. So what we'll do is we'll start over here, and what we don't do is we don't connect these 2 points here with a straight line. We make sure we're rounding around all these points here. Make sure you can keep that curve. That's an ellipse. An ellipse is like an oval shape. It's a curve. Make sure you keep that curve. So that there now is the ellipse drawn in light pencil, and we just come across then and we put it in one continuous line with our heavy pencil. Now, so that's our ellipse drawn in concentric circles method. So make sure as well when you're drawing this, write on your drawings, this is the major axis. That's the major axis and it's the longest axis. And then this is the minor axis. And again, this is the perpendicular bisector, so it bisects the major axis in half and it's perpendicular, it's 90 degrees, so here is 90 degrees. And that's the concentric circles method. Then we're going to try the trammel method, and again here you have the major axis, which is 120, and you have the minor axis, which is 80. So all we're going to do with the trammel method is get a sheet of paper, get a scissors, and we're just going to cut a small little section off the end of the sheet of paper. That's all we're going to do. And on that then, we're going to mark our first point. So this one corner of that sheet of paper, you're going to mark that as P. Then to mark the next point, you go half the major axis. So half the major axis, so from the end into the middle, we mark our first point, which is A. And then you mark the second point, which is half the minor axis. So from the end of the minor axis to the middle, you mark a point B. And A and B can be whatever, you can swap them around. B could be half the major or B could be half the minor. So then what you do then is you put B on the major axis, so half the minor axis, your point for that goes on the major axis, and half your minor axis goes on, or half your major axis goes on your minor axis. And then you just dot your points then. So we have, so you move these around. Make sure your points are going to touch your major and your minor axis. So again, moving it along here. So my B is on my major axis still, and my A is still going to be on my minor axis. Swap them round. This time now we're just going to move B over, keeping it on the major axis and keeping A on the minor axis. We still get our points up here at point P. Still again we're just moving them around. We're just going up and down on A and left and right with the B, and that's giving us more points for our trammel method. So again, we're just moving up with A on the minor axis, and we're just moving in a bit more then on the major axis with B, and that's giving us more points in our ellipse. So again, we're just moving over left more on the major axis with B, and just moving down a small bit on the axis, on the minor axis. So all you're doing again is just remember, with your 2 points A and B, all you're doing is you're keeping B on the major axis, and all you're going to do with that is just move it over left and right. And with A, all you're going to be doing is moving it up and down. And that's going to move around P at the end here, and that's going to give you all the points in your ellipse. And don't forget then again, you have your points at the far left and the far right, and you have your points at the far top and the far bottom. And again then, draw in your ellipse lightly first with your 2H pencil, connecting your points. Again, don't join the points with straight lines. Make sure you curve around it. Make sure you try and make that rugby ball shape. And then one continuous straight line, or one continuous line for the ellipse with your heavy pencil. Make sure you hit all your points. Make sure not to miss a point. So that there now is your trammel method and your concentric circles method. For today's class, I want you to do the trammel method, or the concentric circles method, sorry, and the trammel method both by the end of class. Remember that the length of your major axis is 120. So radius for your big circle is 60. And remember that the length of your minor axis is 80. So radius for your small circle is 40. So it's 40 from the middle out, 40 from the middle out, 60 from the middle out on the major axis, and then 60 from the middle out. So that's everything, and just the two of these, the concentric circles method and the trammel method, to be completed by the end of class. Perfect, thank you.